A professional boxing event due to take place at Rushcliffe Leisure Centre on May the 7th has been cancelled after police received reports of a possible threat of violence.
Spectacularly, this is the news that the nation has once again been thrilled by the opportunity to participate in local elections like a heroic gladiatorial bloodbath, but with the added aroma of freshly sharpened tiny pencils. Across the country, people have been voting for their local councillors in order to decide who they want to have the privilege of closing down their libraries in 6 months' time. In Scotland, 16 and 17-year-olds have been voting for the first time. Previously, they've had to persuade an older teenager to go into the polling station and vote for them. There have been concerns that there will be a low turnout for the Police and Crime Commissioners elections, simply on the ground that there's been no advertising for them. Nobody knows who's standing, what they stand for, or what a Police and Crime Commissioner actually is. I assume it's the person who sends out the bat signal. So this is the news that the new Mayor of London is Claudio Ranieri. Verbally, this is the decision of Ted Cruz and John Kasich to suspend their campaigning against Donald Trump for what they describe as the Republican presidential nomination, but to all outside observers looks more like a hotly contested race to be judged the most appalling man in the world. I know a lot of Radio 4 listeners won't have been keeping up with the American politics, so I'll just quickly bring you up to speed. We have lost the colonies. Anyway, Americans now have to choose who they'd rather have in charge, a former Secretary of State who can never seem to remember which email account she's logged into, or a man who believes everything he reads on the internet. Whatever happens, I think it's safe to say that it was a pleasure knowing you all. Let's take a moment to grab some tins and we'll reconvene in the bunker.
And then the team that wins gets a big cup. It's electrifying stuff.
I wish they actually just got a big cup, like those ones you get from Sports Direct when you walk. What I love about this is, I think I like it. I mean, I love this story. And I'm not a Leicester fan at all, but their main player is this guy called Vardy, who looks like he's only ever eaten crisps.
Unrelatedly, this is the story of unfancied Leicester City shocking the world of football by winning the Premier League. Football fans the world over were delighted by the plucky underdog story of 11 millionaires fighting their way past a lot of slightly richer millionaires. Leicester players have achieved the one thing they have been striving for their entire lives, and one must assume that now, like bumblebees, they will simply die. No, it's a lovely story, and I only wish Leicester's most famous resident, Richard III, could have lived to see it. Grotesquely aged, baffled by the world around him, and sitting in an executive box screaming, "Why won't you let me die?" in Middle English. It's not just sporting achievement in Leicester, of course. The University of Leicester was instrumental in the invention of genetic fingerprinting.
A pilot caught on camera attacking a policewoman has been charged with assault and creating disturbance. The prosecution objected to the pilot's release on bail, saying he's a flight risk.
Are you a man aged over 40? Windsor Lions Club is offering free prostate cancer checks with the help of a local estate agent.
Shut your stupid funnel up!
Flippity flap, flappity flap. May we come in so we'll be dry?
You've got the standard ones, and then you've got ones with SpongeBob on them, right? And my son, he's like, "Can we get the SpongeBob ones? Can we please?" And I had to go, "Listen, let me explain the food industry to you, son, yeah?" They make the beans with the sausages, and then sometimes when they're making it, some of it falls on the floor, goes into dirty corners, and they scoop it up, and then they put it into another tin, and they put SpongeBob on the outside, and they sell it to you kids, and they think you kids are stupid. And he looked at me, and he just said,
One truck at a time.
A lot of the branded stuff is more expensive, though, isn't it? Needlessly. I mean, the Brideshead Revisited Venison is unbelievable.
I once did a gig for the biscuit industry, and these were like the top, like the big wigs from the biscuit game.
Is that when how your agent sold it? Andrew, it's the biscuit guys. I mean, seriously, it's the big guys. It's not...
But which one? Was it like Pete Freen or Fox?
It was Burton's Biscuits.
Really?
Yes.
Now you're talking the Illuminati. So before we start the show tonight, I do just have a slightly difficult announcement to make. It appears that the tickets for tonight's recording were overbooked. And the BBC do have some guests that they need to seat. So I'm afraid we are going to have to ask one of you to leave. Now, we have randomly chosen seat C23. So these two gentlemen here will escort you from the premises, if you don't mind. You will be reaccommodated at Gardener's question time. If the rest of you could stop filming, please. Who was in seat C23? Director General of what?
Due to insufficient funds, the first museum in Britain dedicated to the history of quilt making has folded.
Due to the weather forecast, the training event planned for flood wardens has been postponed.
Unfortunately, Slimming World has had to cancel its meetings here on Saturday mornings, as the group is too large for the room.
Mantle Books have announced that senior editor Sophie Orme will not be returning from maternity leave after an internal restructure.
I've just been out to rescue yet another bin that had blown over on Chestnut Drive in the windy weather. Please help by checking bins for older residents.
Elton John has quit touring after one last round-the-world tour. The rocker announced his plans to quit the road at a press conference in New York, where he hit back at reports that he was retiring because of his death.
The following evening entertainment is available at the Holiday Park. Monday night, music, and Tuesday night, bingo. Please note that bingo is subject to numbers.
We're making a significant investment in our branches to make sure they meet the changing needs of our customers. Therefore, after careful consideration, we've decided to close the branch in Birkdale. We're seeking an actor to take on a role in our upcoming production of No Sex Please, We're British. Character name, Brian Runnicles. Aged 40s, large part.
I always wanted to do taxidermy, and I have never encountered a teacher as talented and patient as Suzette. Mounting a guinea pig was one of the most fulfilling experiences.
Enough!